Welcome to Morfanime. I'm your fan of more anime. How is everybody doing today? I just finished the first act of the Wano Arc. Apparently it's cut up into acts, which makes my job easy because I was just going to read it like every 25 chapters, do a review, but at least now I can just do act by act. It'll just depend on if they're all going to be this long, each act, or if they're going to be even longer. I might have to split up arcs if they aren't, if they're too long, is what I'm trying to say. I'm very excited because I'm finally in Wano. If you've been here since the first review, my East Blue Saga review, it's been a long journey. And now I'm at the place where it was already at when I started, which is crazy. They have been in Wano for years. Please comment down below and let me know how many years Oda has been writing Wano week to week. I could only imagine. What's funny is the first thing I thought when I finished Act 1 is I bet the editor told Ichiro Oda, "Hey man, bruh, you haven't had Zoro in the manga for so long, since you went to Whole Cake Island. You haven't even checked in on him. The fans love Zoro. He needs to be a part of the beginning of Wano, like in-depthly needs to be a part of it." And he's like, "All right." Or Ichiro Oda was like, "Hey, we're going to a samurai island. You think I'm not planning something big for Zoro?" Because Zoro was a big part of this first act. They actually end up separating. I'm getting too far ahead because I'm so excited. It's kind of crazy. It's like, should I even name these videos blind reviews anymore? Because I am not blind to the fact that One Piece is the greatest manga ever created. Greatest world building ever. Like, my God. I never knew what the term world building meant until I read One Piece. For the longest time I was like, what are you talking about? Naruto has got great world building. You know, there's like 5 different countries. No. You don't know what world building is until you read One Piece. One Piece is just the absolute best. It is the joy of my life to read these chapters, and I don't know how long I'll wait before I just start back again at chapter 1 when I get caught up to you guys. I'm almost milking it at this point. Like, I need to just get through it, but I'm so afraid of having to read week to week. And yes, it's going to open up my schedule to review other anime, which will be great, but it's going to be so hard to find something that matches up to this. I think that my best choice of action is to just read a bunch of short series, if series is a word. But man, Wano blew my mind, people. There's time travel in One Piece, and nobody spoiled that for me, and I'm so happy because for the longest time at the beginning of this series, when I started reading it, when we started to see connections between Roger and Luffy, I was like, is Luffy Roger that went back in time? And I was just like, what if there's time travel? And then I kind of gave up the idea that there'd be any time travel, which is good, but I think Oda handled the time travel aspect well. But before I get into the story beats of Wano Act 1, I'd like you to please comment down below. Please let me know how you're doing. Please please subscribe to the Morfanime page. We are on a fast track to 1,000 subscribers, people. I love doing this, and I'm so happy that I actually decided to dive into One Piece. It is the driving force of the Morfanime page. It really is. So it kicks off with Luffy, I believe, on his way with the B team of Sanji, Nami, Carrot, Brook, Chopper, and they're on their way to Wano. They end up running into like a school of giant koi fish. But I love that every island has their own aesthetic. I love that. And I love that this is kind of like, because they had to go up this like, I don't know, waterfall So Luffy like uses stretchy arms to hook on to two koi fish, and they Santa Claus their way up on the Going Merry. No, the Thousand Sunny, and but by the time they get up there, they crash or something, and Luffy lands like somewhere far away from the crew. So Oda actually really puts the spotlight on our main character, Luffy, which I'm always here for because Luffy's my favorite character, and I'm very happy to see the dude get his time, because Ichiro Oda's so good at developing the side characters. And I still get excited when I see the MC just get separated and we can just immerse ourselves in this new island, which we did quickly, because I think like a baboon tries to attack Luffy or some shit, and I think he ends up taking it down. Or there's also this crazy looking dog lion thing that this little girl tamed. There's this little girl in this little village, her and this other dude, and they make like straw hats or something. They make something with straw, I think. I can't remember, wicker or something. But she gets saved by Luffy, and she tames this baboon by, like, she got some kind of devil fruit ability. She like pulls a piece of her cheek off and turns it into food and gives it to this animal. I don't know how Ichiro Oda is going to take this ability and make it important to Wano, but I feel like he is. And I was thinking, oh wait, this is something later in the video. So she can tame animals. The tame fruit, that's what I'm calling it right now. They didn't say what it was, I don't believe. She ends up giving Luffy all of her food, which is like a single cup of white rice. Probably like one of those free cups of white rice you get at a Chinese restaurant when you order a full meal. And Luffy's obviously goes, I would like more now because I'm still hungry and I'm Luffy and I can eat food for 100 men. And she's got no food. She eats occasionally. She works all day. She gave Luffy the rest of all of her rice that she only gets like maybe once a week is what I kind of got for this. Maybe once a month. She only gets this rice. It's pretty sad. You really feel bad for this little girl early on. She ends up drinking some water from a river that is polluted. And I believe she knew it was polluted, so I do not know why she did that. I know she was hungry and she was trying to ease the hunger pangs. And I don't know. Just seems like she'd be smart enough to be like, don't drink that water. I've been here my whole life. I would know that. But the big thing is, she reveals that Ace came to Wano. And I was like, wait, what? And then I remembered. They mentioned Ace coming to Wano, I believe, at Marineford or something, when he made Little Oars a straw hat. Or was it? No, maybe it wasn't a straw hat. It was like one of those things to protect him from the sun. But it was basically a straw hat, a wicker hat of sorts. But I thought that was really cool. So Ace was there, so maybe we'll get to see more of him, like flashbacks of him helping out citizens of Wano. And was he there while he was part of Whitebeard's crew, or was he there before he joined Whitebeard's crew? I'd like to know that. I'm sure if I put the timelines together, it would make sense. But I just thought it was pretty dope to find out that Ace was in Wano. She ends up getting very sick, and her mentor dude tells Luffy like she needs to see a doctor, and you shouldn't have eaten her rice. Makes him feel bad. He ends up running her into town on the back of this lion dog thing, and I believe from there he runs into Zoro almost immediately. Zoro actually was in the middle of fighting a bunch of other samurai, I believe, that were trying to make him commit suicide because they think he stole the sword he got from Ryuma back at Thriller Bark. Apparently it's like a super rare treasure of Wano, this sword. And which we knew about because Kinemon wanted it back from Zoro, and he told him, hey man, I was gifted this sword in battle. And he's like, you're a liar. So they gave Zoro this this knife, this really small knife without a hilt, and it says you need to stab yourself in the stomach, the whole classic, samurai honorable death thing. And Zoro uses this one tiny knife, very reminiscent of when he fought Hawkeye Mihawk, to cut a building in half and beat a bunch of trained samurai, which I thought was very epic, very cool. The art was amazing. But really quickly, Zoro finds Luffy, gets lost and finds Luffy. They actually weren't supposed to do anything when they were on, just to get information. They were just supposed to get information and lie low until Luffy and everybody gets there, and then they can start with the plan. But of course, Zoro and Luffy decide to just be as loud as possible and just go straight into action, just like I would when I'm playing D&D. If there's an option to talk to the opponent, I will not do that. I will attack them immediately because I just want to fight. And that's what Luffy wants to do. But he wants to save this girl, actually. He wants to do good things here. And Zoro was kind of put in between a rock and a hard place. He's like, commit suicide or kill all these, or beat up all these samurai and get away. So he kind of had to do what he did. But they get a little overboard in this arc. So they head to a town to get some help, to find a doctor. But before they make it to that town, they get stopped by Basil. Is his name Basil? Basil Hawkins, I believe, one of the supernovas. And like I predicted before, every arc we're going to get another supernova. Maybe Hawkins is Wano supernova. And if I remember correctly, the music guy, Apu, is also a member of Kaido's army. So maybe this will be their arc to shine, just like how Capone had the Whole Cake Island arc, and Law had Dressrosa and Punk Hazard, and he's still here now because of he's so bait ace, I'm guessing. So Hawkins stops them, reveals I already predicted that he had the straw fruit of sorts because he turned into a scarecrow when he fought against Kizaru back at Sabaody, but turns out he has the straw fruit ability. He summons this giant straw monster, and he also has the ability to read tarot cards. I do not think that's part of his actual power, or if it's an actual ability, or he just is full of himself. Do you guys know if he's actually psychic? He tells Zoro and Luffy, you have 19% chance of surviving the next month, which tells me that they have a chance. You're saying there's a chance, just like in Dumb and Dumber. No, the 19 got me excited because that's my lucky number. Number 19 is my favorite number. And when they said they got 19%, your odds are looking good, Luffy and Zoro. They end up getting away, I believe, or beating up Hawkins and getting away. Hawkins reveals he's got this ability, which I do not know how it's connected to his straw fruit. Is he a Logia or a Paramecia? Also, the fact that he's got like 10 lives, apparently. And he can connect his, like little voodoo dolls inside of him. Straw voodoo dolls. How is that part of the straw fruit ability? Like, is he the scarecrow fruit? Like mythical zone thing? It's confusing. Like, if he's just made of straw and he can make these giant straw scarecrows, that's fine. But the fact that he can use this magic to have extra lives is pretty wild. And I'm curious, he lost like 3 of them in this bout, so he's kind of not defensive because he's like, I got all these lives. It don't matter. No wonder he was so confident when Kizaru showed up. He's like, hey guys, you guys are part of my crew. If he kills me, one of you guys die, not me. I'll just stand right here and read my tarot cards. It's all good. They must be drinking his Kool-Aid. It also tells me that Kaido is gathering strong crew members. It was Jack, part of another crew, and Kaido beat his ass and made him join him and be one of his generals. Jack the Drought, I believe his name is. He makes an appearance here too and gets slapped down. Barely gets to do shiz. Before I get to the meat and potatoes of this arc, the Act 1 arc, Wano, another scene that I forgot to mention is we get to see Marco the Phoenix again. I really like him, but he does look like he's aged in these last 2 years. I thought he was a young man. But I know he's been like with Whitebeard for a while, so he's actually got to be in his, 30s or something? But he looks much older now than he did back at Marineford. Like, he looks haggard. He's been through some shit. He went to war with Blackbeard. We also get revealed that Weevil, the so-called son of Whitebeard, might really be his son, because they mentioned that his mom was on the same ship that Whitebeard was on all those years ago. Man, and that was just a quick scene. And Marco said, like, I'm not leaving or something because he's protecting Whitebeard's, like, home country, this orphan island or something where Whitebeard came from that he's been protecting for years and feeding money into secretly. It was a really touching scene. And I do hope that Oda's not just teasing Marco. Like, I really do think that they're going to need him for this battle with Kaido's forces, because he seems to have a hell of a squad. He's got a squad of captains that are easily all billion-berry bounty types that I don't think the Straw Hat crew alone can handle. What if Marco joins the Straw Hat crew? He's like, I'll journey with you to the end, since I can't do it with Whitebeard, and Weevil's been killing all my old crewmates, so they're kind of disbanded anyway. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down for Marco to join the crew as like the veteran, and he can kind of give out advice. Him and Jinbei. God, we haven't seen Jinbei. It feels like forever. I know it's not been that long, just since Whole Cake. But I hope he's okay, because last time I heard he was going to come back to Wano even if he died, which sounds pretty wild. I hope he was able to get away from Big Mom. And I know Oda probably wouldn't kill a character off screen. Has he done that? I don't think so. So Luffy and the crew show up at a town which has this lady samurai, and she's being hit on by this sumo wrestler guy who's like, I think his name was Yokozuna. Wasn't the name of the frog back at Water 7 named Yokozuna? Am I mixing those two up? Doesn't matter. Big sumo dude. Big sumo wrestler, classic look. He's actually in a sumo wrestling fight, and the little girl actually gets stolen by some of Kaido's men. One of Kaido's men is named Batman, by the way. Every one of them kind of have a devil fruit ability. Or a smile fruit ability. One of those fruits that Caesar made. And they're all like deformed zone fruit users because they don't seem proper. Because one of them has like a lion on its stomach, and it doesn't seem like he can get rid of it. They all seem stuck in their beast mode, whereas someone like Lucci or Kaku can go back to human mode. But it doesn't seem like these beast soldiers can return to their human state after they eat the smile fruit. I was hoping there would be repercussions to eating a artificial devil fruit, and it looks like there is. I'm curious if they can swim, though. What if the trade was like, you can use this fake zone fruit and you can still swim afterwards? Also makes me wonder, are there fish type zone fruit users? Because wouldn't that suck if you're like, I got the shark fruit, but I can't swim. This is kind of lame. The fishman fruit. You know what? I bet there's a fishman fruit. Now that I think about it, there's a human fruit. Look at Chopper. There's probably a fishman fruit. Maybe a Tantata fruit. That's pretty crazy. What if there's a giant fruit? Oh my god, that'd be so sick. If someone could just go into giant mode at will. Because they're all different species in a way, kind of like humans are. And Choppers are human fruit user. So what if on the line we meet someone who's a fishman but turns out to be a human that ate the fishman fruit? Anybody think, boom, big brain theories are coming through my brain. I'm a One Piece veteran, folks. Yeah, I'm almost caught up with you guys. I'm getting theories now. I hope you're enjoying my new content I've been doing lately on my community tab on the YouTube. Morfanime page where I'm setting up another tournament, the Grand Line tournament, Grand Line Villains tournament. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure it's going to drop after this review, so this isn't going to be a dated thing to say. So Luffy ends up having a sumo wrestling match with this guy and comes in with a giant gum like sumo hand, which was dope, and wrecks this dude's shit. It was pretty funny because there was like a little quotation that said the sumo wrestler's like undefeated, and then it shows like Luffy is also undefeated. Only opponent is Ussopp or something like that. I thought that was hilarious. By the way, Wano Act 1, not only jam-packed with action, but hilarious. So Luffy ends up beating the crap out of the sumo guy. The lion's tummy guy who was interrogating the cheek dumpling girl, he he shows up and he says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And Luffy ends up going up. I think he Red Hawks him because the little girl sees Luffy do that, and it reminds her of Ace, which was cool. I thought that was a really cool and touching tribute. Oh, I forgot to mention this. One thing I really liked is when the little girl asked about Ace, because apparently they're not getting any of the news in Wano. It's completely cut off from the rest of the world, so they don't know that Ace is dead. Luffy doesn't even stutter. He's like, Ace is dead. And I really like that because it says that that Luffy isn't gonna be like, oh no, I can't say it. I can't even say it. He accepts what's happened. He hasn't like tried to pretend like it didn't happen or forget about it. He remembers it. He knows that's his driving force to continue on his journey for himself and his brother. And I think that's cool. I really do. That he's just willing to be like, hey, bluntly, Ace is dead. He sacrificed himself for me, and I'm carrying his will to move forward. Luffy ends up knocking this guy out, saving the little girl. I also mentioned the samurai girl they run into. I think her name was Kiku. Kiku, she was pretty badass, and she was like hiding that she was a samurai. She's also like one of Kinemon's people, one of them, the samurai crew. She was like trying to be stealthy, of course. These samurai are good at hiding things because they reveal some crazy shit. She actually comes up and cuts off the sumo wrestler's top knot, which I assume is a huge insult. They end up getting saved by Law, I believe. Law ends up like fighting Hawkins, which is pretty dope. I wish they made that longer. Personally, I would love to see a long, full 2 chapters of Law versus Hawkins. I want to see Law kick some ace by himself in a one-on-one battle. I guess we got to see that with him and Smoker back at Punk Hazard. He's just a fun person to watch fight because of the teleportation aspect and how he can cut people up. He ends up getting really mad at Luffy and Zoro, who end up stealing a bunch of food from the thugs that have been hoarding all the good food and good water, and they've been polluting Wano's water so they can make weapons. And it's pretty fucked up. And I can't believe that the people of Wano haven't revolted yet, but I guess they don't have the power. Kaido's just too strong. They give a bunch of food to these people, these starving, sick Wano people in one town. That's just one town here. There's probably hundreds more. They show a mom about to like kill her baby who's just so hungry, won't stop crying. It's very brief, but you see her with a knife, and then an old man going, "No, someone's bringing us food right now." And I thought that was cool and very lucky for the baby. But Oda isn't scared to show us some really dark shit secretly in like one panel, which I thought, whoa, if you like skim past that, you might miss the knife aimed at the baby. I did find it interesting that Law was like, pirates helping people, makes me sick. He says something to that effect, and I'm like, I didn't know you were such a dick, Law. I thought you'd, learn to love, thanks to Corazon, dick. But no, he's mad because Luffy didn't follow the plan, but he kind of got, he was kind of following this little girl who was going to die. He had no other choice. I guess he secretly could have found Chopper. But who knows where Chopper is? You know who does know where Chopper is? Law. Law ends up taking Zoro and Luffy, and Zoro immediately gets lost and goes onto like a ship to get some food. And that was pretty much the end of his story here. Luffy ends up meeting the rest of the crew who got shipwrecked, and they get told that Usopp is pretending to be a toad oil salesman, and given, I guess, collecting information. Franky is out serving under some carpenter guy, I believe, who builds ships, I think. He builds something. Builds houses or something. It might have been ships. And I think he's trying to learn information through that guy, because I think he's like Kaido's top ship builder or something. Nico Robin is a geisha. Oh yeah. And she's like dancing in these halls and also trying to gain access to Orochi, I think. I always think Orochimaru every time I read it, but Orochi apparently is in cahoots with Kaido. Like, somehow they work together to overthrow Odin, the former shogun, I believe, or I believe that's the king for them, the shogun of this island. And they also, what I'm forgetting here. Oh, yeah, so, and then who's left? Is there anybody else not out there? No, I think that's it. So Kinemon meets up with Luffy, and they actually go to this grave site that has all these old-looking graves, and it's the name, every grave has the name of Momosuke, Raizen, Kinemon, Kanjuro, all these samurai and ninja that we've been dealing with for the last, like, 3 arcs, and they're not dead. So why are there graveyards here? Why is there a graveyard here? And I was so confused at first until one specific chapter, which Kinemon mentions that they are from the past. Every one of them, including the girl Kiku, they're all from the past. And they came here 20 years ago, from 20 years ago. They were teleported here by a lady who was Odin's wife and Momosuke's mom, who has the ability of the time fruit, and she even mentions you can't go back in time, but you can leap forward, and that I've been leaping forward for a long time until I stopped here and met Odin, and I don't know why she didn't go with them. They even show Momo has like a sister, and I think she was holding, I think she's younger, and I'm like, why wouldn't you give them her too? Like, you're gonna die. Like, Kaido's people are after you, I'm sure. And I believe they were in a burning building, so everybody just thought they died, I think. I don't know if there's limitations to how often she can jump. Maybe she could only send a limited amount of people, and she's like, okay, you 5 are trained samurai. I have no point of going 20 years into the future. You 5 are the strongest who are left. You go. Kanjuro, Kinemon, Momo, Raizen, I believe. And Kiku. And so they get sent to the future. I was thinking maybe Kiku was a little girl, and then that's why she knew Kinemon. But no, apparently she was from 20 years in the past too. It's pretty wild when you think about it. Like, all these things that they've been through with Kinemon and Momo, and nothing. They didn't reveal any of this, and it seems so important, and it seems like a crazy story to tell people you trust. And I think by the time they made it to Zou, they fully trusted Luffy. They had to have. They mention that they want to gather like 5,000 men, or men and women who want to fight among the country, and then in 2 weeks they want to go fight Kaido in a big war when they're drinking at some kind of specific festival day. Get them while they're drunk. I think they did that in an actual war. I'm sure they've done that multiple times. But they want to get them while they're partying, which is like a good plan. Diabolical. What made me think, I'm like, didn't Luffy just gain 6,000 followers back at Dressrosa? Like, didn't they pledge allegiance to the Straw Hat flag and say that whenever you need the Straw Hat fleet, we will be there? I think all they need to do is send a message down to our boy Bartolomeo, #1 fan of Luffy, and say, hey man, get the word out, get Cabbage and everybody else, and gather them and come to Wano, because we're going to war. says Captain Luffy. And I think they would have their army. And I don't know why nobody mentioned that. Maybe they forgot that they have a literal army with really strong captains that could help them out. Maybe Kinemon has a better plan gathering the samurai. We actually do get to see Jack the Drought again. He's like checking out the village, I believe, that Luffy gave all the food to. And at the current time, there was this dude stealing the food, which turned out to be just big fat guy sitting on the back of a fucking buffalo or something. And this dude's sitting there, and he's just like, gather all the food. He seems like a total dick. I assumed he was a nothing character. He ends up one-shotting Jack the Drought. And I was just like, whoa, hold on. I turned the page back, and I was like, who are you? And I assume he's one of the samurai from 20 years ago that once served under Oden. It's crazy, right? So that means Momo is older than Luffy, technically. He was born before Luffy. Isn't that crazy? And he's just this little kid. And they remember Oden dying like it was yesterday, because to them it basically was like a couple months ago. I mean, with under a year, they haven't been here that long, but I think that's pretty crazy that Oda found a way to include time travel into this already massive world of his. Time travel. I got, Trunks vibes, but in a way better way. You're not messing with the past. I'm glad they're not going to mess with the past. I'm glad that they're only going to use it this one time, unless someone else gets the time fruit. Oh, man. This is crazy. And we're not even done with Act 1 yet. So, Jack the Drought gets taken out. Luffy and the rest of the crew goes back down there, I believe. And Kaido shows up out of the sky as a fucking dragon. Apparently, Kaido is like Momosuke and either ate a dragon smile fruit or I ate the actual dragon mythical zone fruit. And of course, I was like, of course Kaido's a fucking dragon. I'm curious if that's why he has the horns, or is he just from a tribe of people with beast-like features? Because we have seen other characters with horns. I think Caesar has them. Where's Caesar? I almost miss the shodododododo. I almost miss. I used to hate that laugh, by the way. And they just get infectious. They really do. Sometimes I walk around the house and be like, shodododododo, shododododo. Kaido shows up drunk as shit, which was hilarious. And Luffy, I believe, challenges him right then and there and just starts wailing on Kaido. Law's down there, and he tells everybody else to wait. He's like, you guys, they don't know you're here. They only know that me and Luffy and Zoro are here. So you guys keep hiding. Even though if I was Kaido, I would assume anybody connected to Luffy is on the island. So Kaido fights Luffy, sorta. Like, it's a good fight. Like, it's short. But Luffy's wailing on him in Gear 3. He actually lands a massive elephant gun, 2, I believe. And then, like, a barrage of elephant guns in Gear 3. And then eventually goes to Gear 4. I think it was Bounce Man form. And he goes to fight Kaido. And Kaido pulls out a weapon we haven't seen since the East Blue. He pulls out this giant club with the spikes on it. And I'm not saying we saw his club back then, but the last villain, I believe, in One Piece to use a club was Alvida, the first villain in the series. Isn't that crazy to think about? That now we see Kaido here with this crazy club, which I wouldn't be surprised if it had, like, the points were tipped with Sea Prism Stone, because we also find out that Sea Prism Stone is was founded in Wano. At one point, Hawkins shoots Law with a Sea Prism nail, because he shoots nails, because he's a crazy straw man. Luffy actually gets one-shotted by this giant club of Kaido's, and he loses in literally one attack. You think that Luffy's kind of on par with Kaido, at the beginning of the fight because Kaido's just like drunk and just like, wait, what? He's thrown off guard. He doesn't even look fazed by all the punches he took from Luffy. And Luffy's been training, and he was enraged. Luffy was enraged after finding out that Kaido's been just destroying this country. We find out that the kids are manipulated by politics here. They talk about how they don't want to open the borders, and that the people back then, they've completely smeared Odin's name to the generations of children of Wano, which is so dark and so realistic. I love that. Luffy ends up getting thrown in Wano prison, which is just like a containment camp where they work hard labor until they agree to serve Kaido, which is cool because it's a way to prolong the story, and it makes sense towards Kaido's character. He's already got a kid locked up because he hasn't decided to join yet. My assumption is Hawkins looked at his cards and he's like, yeah, I got a 1% chance of surviving in a fight with you, so I'll join up. Or my cards say I should join. And I'm sure Apu was like, I'm in. And it's crazy. Like these badaces, these 11 supernovas, some of them just got turned into soldiers to serve other emperors. They aren't going to be anything else, possibly. But I said the same thing about Capone, and it turned out that it was like a trap that he was setting for Big Mom. So, you know, he earned my respect a bit. Luffy gets thrown to a prison cell, told he's going to have to work hard labor if he's got to join the Kaido crew, and we get to see Kid locked up in the cell next to him. And I think the Kid ends up killing somebody with fish bones, which I thought was brutal. And I believe they're all wearing sea prism stone handcuffs. If Kid did that while wearing a sea prism stone handcuff, that's crazy. Like they were talking about how we give them these poisoned fish, these polluted fish to survive on. So it's like they're eating these polluted meats. There was a funny scene where Zoro was eating the meat and he didn't know that they was polluted, and he's like, oh, that's why my stomach hurts when Luffy reveals that to him. And Luffy, you know, he's kind of immune to poison thanks to Magellan. I kind of miss Magellan. You know, when I first saw him, I thought, this guy's gross. Now I'm like, I kind of want to see how Magellan stacks up now after this, you know, after the time skip and whatnot. So that was Act 1 of Wano. I hope I'm not forgetting anything of importance. Oh, there was a character I really liked. There was this horse girl who ate the smile fruit. I think her name was Speed. She was working with Batman. And sounds weird to say that while reviewing One Piece. And she's like she's basically a centaur, a legit centaur. And it was funny because Luffy jumped on her back to get away at one point, and she was like, get off my back. And the little girl like fed her a piece of her cheek, and it ended up working, and she became the slave to the little girl. The tame fruit is what I'm calling it, like I said. I'm curious if she can do that, the dumpling thing, and feed it to Kaido and just take over, or it only works on people at a certain level. But couldn't they do that? Like, it worked on... This little girl did this to this probably powerful horse lady. The horse lady turns out to be nice, I guess. I'm not sure if she's nice or she's just under the spell. She ends up, like, fighting Kaido to save the little girl, who I think Kaido straight up murdered. I hope so. I really do hope that Kaido murdered this girl off screen, because they show, like, her hand and blood. I'm like, that's dark. That is dark. If she did die, though, Luffy's got to kill Kaido. I don't think Luffy's killed anybody in the series, but if he killed that little girl in cold blood like that, just on a whim, while he was drunk, flying around being a dumbass, this guy's got to go. Like, that's dark. Wano's amazing. I was a little skeptical, because I had already spent so much time with these samurai, but they just weren't in their element. We're on the island they're supposed to be on. I'm actually starting to really like Kinemon as well. I did not like him when we first met him at Punk Hazard. And I think halfway through Dressrosa, when I was like, this guy's alright. I wish that he got more time at Dressrosa, but, you know, his goofy humor in Dressrosa is what won me over, actually. And he does have a cool fire sword. It'd be cool if Zoro got that fire sword someday. I don't want Kinemon to permanently join the crew, though. Oh yeah, and Kinoan's got a wife, by the way, on this on this island, and it seems like the girl Kiku really likes him too. Sanji's like jealous of the whole thing. I felt bad that Sanji didn't get to really do a whole lot. Oh, there was a cute moment where everybody gets their new Wano outfits, and everybody's been told what outfit they're going to get, and Chopper's like, I want to be a ninja, and he gives him a ninja outfit, and Chopper jumps up, he's like, I'm a ninja. That was the first time I've ever been into Chopper's cuteness, but that was my fave. He's like, I'm a ninja, yeah. I thought that was cool. How old is Chopper? Because for the longest time I was like, I thought he would be a little more mature, but I guess he's just this little boy, a little child. He must be the youngest member of the crew. This is Morfanime, and once again, please subscribe. Please click the link in the description and order yourself a Morfanimaniacs t-shirt to support the channel. Like I said before, we are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I'll talk to you later.